the trend, the way it is going, it is now going to go like that. And most countries that have not reported, it does not mean the virus is not there. It is just keeping them from our way. It's there, it's growing, it's infecting the population, and then one day by the time they discover, it will be just too much. And they can't deal with it. And for me, what I've seen in epidemics, I don't want to scare you so much. Now, yeah, I think I was telling you. In Sierra Leone, we used to wake up very early in the morning, dispatch garbage collection trucks to pick dead bodies from the streets. So let's not joke. Let's do our best. Let's do our best. We can't say we cannot, we are going to do this, but let's, if it is praying, pray until you are at that throne. Not this prayer, just appearance. Looking prayer. And for me, when I was looking at the issue of sending people home, please get to know your God and talk to him about this issue. He will give us, he will inform us, and we are the secret. We need to touch God and speak to him person to person and let him tell us. Because the things not yet revealed belong to him. And we are the only ones who can go to him and download and make them into the norm so that they begin to belong to us. Okay, Kaji, what are we asking of you? If the questions are not there. Any other questions?
There are points of emphasis mainly. Because by virtue of where we belong, we have so many conspiracy theories. We have
then the spiritual theories.
Yeah, there are so many conspiracy theories. The New World Order is using this virus to persecute the church. You know, these are the questions we are going to get. Because as the president made those announcements, we are receiving so many reactions from the pastors, even to the extent that maybe people are saying it's a curse if the church is not allowed to pray. So it is very important for more emphasis of how, like you helped us and said, no one manufactures it. Secondly, it is also very important for us to help us answer some of those questions that we're going to face. Given the fact that our community is the way it is thinking. Actually, if you took a democratic vote on the pastors in this nation, they would say church services should continue. Actually, if you stop them, you are not believing in the God, the mighty God that you serve. So it's very important for us to have these, because these are the interactions we are having even right now, and the information you're giving us is very important.
So this you are my first level of evangelism.
Yes.
Are you converted so that I disciple you?
Yes.
The gospel. The gospel. So I'm first evangelizing you. You must understand the basics. Because people will just accept because of emotional, they will backslide. But if you, that is why I'm trying to explain those basic things. That's why in Bogenda Crusade, a lot of people put up their hands. But later, the ones you see continuing to walk, because they just got emotionally. But I want you to understand this, because you are going to be the seed we are sowing into the church system, the Pentecostal church system, so that you can produce the right fruit. Let us be seen as leaders who sought knowledge and understanding, because God says his people perish for lack of what? Knowledge. He said his people. It was not the other people. It was his people. They were also perishing like everybody, because they didn't have knowledge. So if we also don't seek that understanding and get that knowledge, we are going to perish just like everybody. But we could be a ray of hope if we can have the knowledge and the understanding, and given that we have a big constituency in the nation, you know, we are believable people. But you needed to know enough to explain to others. I wish you knew how many appeals I got. Everybody suddenly remembered Dr. Monica is our sister, and she's the president's advisor. Tell the man not to close churches. This country is standing on, and he told you, we have not stopped spiritual activities. We are just stopping the mass gatherings. I had a story. Me, I've seen a lot. We had Ebola here in the Wundibujo. We spoke, we visited the churches, but when one lady fell sick, the brethren, the intercessors, and the pastor full of faith restored the patient in the hospital. They spent the whole night casting out this demon, this disease which has no choice, a spiritual disease. The lady died 2 days later. 30 people who were in that meeting perished. The ones who were in the perished. Within 1 month, they were all gone.
There's one I had to travel to China from Nigeria.
No, they disturbed me so much. You know, they disturbed me so much in Sarajevo. They would drive from Nigeria, busfuls. They want to come and prophesy and pray for the sick in the treatment center. No. I told them, you are not going to do it. You are not, where is your faith? I said, my faith is in God, the author of every knowledge and wisdom. And he has given me that knowledge and wisdom. Drive back. There was one group I had to call police because I was a commander of a section of the army and the police. So what I say is what they do. I had to call them to be escorted out of the country. About Uganda can be stabbed. They can be stabbed. Because they don't want to accept that not all knowledge comes from God. It is only their faith, their little ray of faith, understanding, that narrow understanding, that's what they think. When Hezekiah was sick and he prayed, why didn't God just send a prophet to go and say, Hezekiah, be okay? Why did God show the prophet? A particular type of fig, and showed him how to prepare it. Didn't God have the power to just say, get up Hezekiah and walk? He had the power, but that's not how he wanted to hear. So let us, I know some of you also have some doubts somewhere, so I'm trying to add in the gospel. So please, let us be on the same side and protect our people.
We are looking for the miracle.
One, you have a question.
It's been, for all other diseases, people with blood group O are known to be more resistant than the rest of the blood groups. Does that mean that people with blood group O can probably produce more antigens to fight this?
I don't yet have the evidence. Yeah. For now, everybody is susceptible. Everybody. The only evidence I have is that younger people are showing tendency not to develop severe disease. But even if the young people have other things, do you know we have almost 1.5 million people with HIV and in this country? They're immunocompromised. They're already stressed. If people have diabetes, they don't know. So we cannot take any chances on this. So for now, we are taking it that everybody is susceptible. And when the disease comes, every day we are following studies, and what looks general, we incorporate it. And there will be a lot of talking, as this is a new disease. It's just that we have the ability to interpret the available information now. But there's a lot that we don't know yet.
This one is just a comment for everyone. Yesterday we were asked how come people of faith are also running. And the answer that God gave us was, when Jesus was born, God told his father and his mother that run away from here and go to Egypt. That was wisdom. If the Son of God knew when to run and when to stay, how can we, mere men, not know when to run and when to stay?
If our brothers refused to understand, then they go on praying for the sick, opening the church. What is the solution of that?
If your brothers
Refuse to
now
understand.
we have staged this in 3 ways. This is a law. We are just trying to be nice, to use the soft method, but it is a law. It has, I think it has signed today. The president told you that the minister is going to sign an instrument. So it's law. If you don't voluntarily accept, right now the police are being trained to do this as I speak. Because yesterday we actually had the police commander, the IG.
I would really use a layman's language to the people of that kind, that if the law has stipulated that keep left and then you are keeping right, what happens? So
They will knock you. And you know, but sometimes we are doing things which are just shaming us. You heard of, I don't know which country, where the preacher gave Dick,
yeah,
South Africa, I think.
and they died. Dick doesn't recognize the Holy Spirit in you. This material obeys the laws of God. It doesn't. It just kills you the same way it kills the other.
Doctor, any possibility of getting the cure or the vaccine soon?
There are people who are working 24 hours, sleeping in laboratories all over the world, working on that. But let me start with the vaccine. Vaccines take very long. Even if I showed in my lab, because of the phases, for you to reach a level where the World Health Organization will allow you to test it in human beings, it goes to through certain steps. And now to reach the level where we can use it to prevent. For example, the Ebola vaccine, it is the first one has just been licensed after the testing in Democratic Republic of Congo. Even though it was just allowed in a certain group of people. But that one has gone through a lot of, so a vaccine will take long. Treatment, there are lots of people working and praying that they can come up with a treatment which is specific, that kills the virus. As of now, we don't have any that we can say, this one, we shall give you an injection. I think there are some things people think about, maybe if a medicine was already being used for something else, and then you think so they can get permission to try it out on some of these patients. But we don't have medicine yet. And forget these rumors you heard that we are manufacturing medicine which cures. That was just, people were trying to express themselves, but they didn't understand the technical language. So they accidentally said something which was not, or understood something which was not. Yes?
Thank you so much, Doctor. My fellow bishops and pastors, I've come to fully understand why our services will stop. One, you may be infected when you don't know. As it seems in the church, the pastor may be 90% to infect the believers. Number three, this virus has no cure at the moment. We have a recorded case of someone who's infected, but what I've heard from the doctor, we may be carriers when we don't know because of our type of something, but when we are infecting others. So I thank you, doctor. So thank you so much, and I want to tell you that you are converted.
Oh, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Heaven is rejoicing.
Doctor, why was the president talking about 32 days? Is that the period when you believe we shall be safe?
I wanted to shift to that, walk you through explaining the reasons why. So can you hold on that? Let's just the technical things that I explained in the background.
Yeah, I just want to make a comment and then a request. I think, number one, we want to thank God for Dr. Monica for being brought by God in that very place. It's a very crucial place. And I want to request that let's pray for her. Information she has dispensed, you are able to see that the people actually who are at risk most are pastors. You see, because you deal with many more people. So in fact, I want just to request all of you to be very careful. Because one pastor may meet, even if you are going to cancel his office, you meet more people than they will meet. So really, and then lastly, I think information, what the kind of information she's giving us, we should really thank God that we have such amount of knowledge. Because there are other plagues where you don't know anything, where it just finishes people, and people just wonder what is going on. But this one, a lot of information is also available. And also, we should also glorify God at this moment because of the way God, just like Dr. Monica said, the way God has created us, how our body operates. Really, it is a time that should really push us into a lot of prayer and worship. And really, that's really what I wanted to say. Thank you so much.
I also wanted to add something on that. Pastors, are you aware that in the Old Testament, it is we, the priests, who were the agriculturists, who were the specialists in everything. We were the specialists in agriculture, so we would tell the people to cultivate the land for 6 years and allow it to rest 1 year. That is the modern agricultural principle of what? Following, isn't it? If somebody got sick, if somebody had leprosy, and they are finally healed, who would check him and finally give him a certificate so that he can now go back out of the quarantine? You remember that it was the priest who put people in the quarantine, and it is you, the priest, who would allow them back. Jesus came and observed the quarantine. He said to the man he had healed of leprosy, before you go back to town, go to the priest, let him check you, and then he will give you a what? Certificate. Do you remember that case? Yeah. Yes. Did Jesus obey the laws? Yes. Yes. So you cannot say, for me, I'm too full of the Holy Spirit. Even Jesus subjected his spirituality and healing to the laws of the land. He told the person he knew he was already healed, but he did not want to break the law. So he said, you go to the priest, the doctor to check you, because the priests were the what? The doctors, meaning we the priests are supposed to have all this knowledge. We are supposed to equip ourselves with knowledge. The scripture that she quoted, my people are destroyed for lack of what? Knowledge. Who is supposed to dispense knowledge?
So if he did not put that way, that was the polite way of putting it. So he would have put it, my people are destroyed because of the pastors. Is that true?
Because they are the
Is
ones
that
who-
true? Because they are the ones who dispense knowledge.
Yes, they're the one.
To prove that, the next statement says, because you have rejected knowledge, I have rejected you from being a priest. That's what the next verse, the next part says. When you, pastor, reject knowledge, you remain a priest in name. Before God, you already rejected. So the people who are quarreling and saying all those, they are already rejected. They remain with the name and the title, but they rejected. So the real reason he gives, that the reason I have rejected you from being a priest is because you've rejected knowledge. So we should embrace knowledge, because that's what actually proves our what? Our priesthood. Is that clear? Now, that's why in this particular case, for us, for me, why I thought this was important, at the moment the president told us on Tuesday that this is what he was coming, that's why I summoned all of you immediately. And I felt we should take the lead to explain this. We should take the lead, we should show leadership. We should not cower away from people who will criticize you. Don't mind, those people will always be there. And if you fear to be criticized, you will never be a leader. A leader who fears to be criticized will never what? Be a leader. You are now going to descend all over the country, and you're going to teach, to explain, get all that you can. And these videos, we are going to reproduce them, so you go with them. So ask all the questions, so that in case you forget them here, you go with your DVD, so that you can listen to it again and again, because you're going to go over the radios, over the television in your area. We do not have enough health workers to do this work. Do you realize how serious this is? You imagine how much it is going to take for the whole nation to be educated to this level. And who can do it? Who has the staff? WHO, do you have the staff and the people to actually go to the villages? They don't. And yet we are on the ground. We have the trust of the people and the necessary influence. So if we take the lead at this time, your leadership will be felt. It has never been needed like it is now needed. And I want to request all of you that when you get as much as you can, equip yourself, start to think all the things in your local language, so that when you are on the radio, Bishop Ochan, you'll be speaking in Acholi. Look for a name for COVID-19, or you can call it that, but it has to be in Acholi. When you are speaking in the West Nile, you speak it.
You don't have the word virus. What do you use?
Akauka. You call it akauka, whatever. Peter Okwidi. So West Nile, you have West Nile. You have to have somebody Arul, then the Lukba, then the Kakwa, then the what? The Madi. As soon as you go back, these people who can understand those languages should listen to this, take them through this. Of course, 8 or 7 people don't bring any crowd beyond 9, but you should take the lead. And now that you're going to have translated these materials here before you leave, we must take the lead and be the real priests that we are supposed to be. Yes. The priest should have what? The priest should have what? Knowledge. You lack knowledge, you cause the people to be destroyed. So Uganda is not going to be destroyed because it has priests. And all the regional overseers, I think, are here. Anyone which you don't have? Moroto. Wow. He's arriving. Okay, so only Moroto wasn't here. Sorry, Karamoja, and the regional overseer for Karamoja. Wow, is arriving. He set off late. I couldn't get through to him, but finally I did. But I want us to take this seriously. We don't know how long this will be, whether 1 month, 6 months, you never know. We don't know how this is going to be, but we must take the leadership now. We must be able to say this is what we are going to do for now. After all, your churches and lunch hours and are now stopped. So now take on this and educate the what? The community.
Visitations,
still-
families, they are suspended.
We're still on work.
Yeah?
We are going to do
You are going to teach. Now that's what you'll be teaching over the radio, on your television, and now you have the materials to distribute. And all your provincials, your district overseers, your sub-count overseers, we are going to agree here how we are going to work. We are ready to work with the ministry completely up to the grassroots level. When others are doing it or not, it's none of our business. For us, we're going to do it. Are you ready for that?
That's what it is.
Yes, let's have those three, then we'll go to the next phase to give you, I know you are going to face a lot of questions, especially on the president's points. So let's let me answer those.
Following what Bishop is saying and how we're going to go back to work. Since our structure goes up to sub-county level, are we going to be allowed to meet at least our district overseer? Now we have a provincial overseer here or a regional. He needs to meet his key leaders.
Less than 10. That's what I just said. As long as they are
Less than 10, they are sitting 2 meters apart.
Yes. This is the last time you are sitting. This is close.
Yeah, when I reached there, I was like, what?
Even is an entry.
Yes?
You have made us very clear that this coughing and flu is very dangerous. And as the bishop has told
And we
us,
welcome the regional overseer. Thank you for the effort you have made. Thank you. He's also the mayor of Moroto municipality.
MP for Moroto municipality.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Doctor, you've shared with us the degree of how this virus is very dangerous. Here is a situation where we are having many people coughing when we are going out, and we are telling them this is very dangerous. What are the testing situations now, or indicators that go and check out and the rest? Which avenues, where do we point this to the people, because the awareness is now going to be done? And where do they run? To my local clinics, can they test that? Or do we have specific hospitals?
Okay. There was another question there. I think there's a comment. Make that then answer.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. I'm Jackson and I come from Seoul. We've got this issue here for us who here in the borders of Congo and Rwanda. And if I may speak the truth is, when it comes to security things, we record many, in fact, excess of illegal entries, especially these prophets and people. There are many gatherings of people who don't test or wash hands, and we find them already operating in the area. Please, you people who are near the government, how safe are we? Maybe we are going in the field. How do we work with the government? Do we have that authority? Please tighten the security. This is what we observe almost on an everyday basis. And thank you for teaching us.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Let me answer this, then I'll go through how to address the issues. Because you are going to get some people will be angry, some people will be working. Why have we taken that measure? So that you will be able to explain the others. So for the testing, first, if you have cough and flu, stay at home. Unless you need to go to a health center to seek treatment. Now, in this, they have put their telephone numbers. There are telephone numbers which are toll free, meaning it's free to call that number. There are people 24 hours answering those numbers. And when you explain your situation, they will tell you, because the information is going to keep changing on what you need to do. And the Ministry of Health is reproducing a lot of materials to guide people. So, but the people with these numbers will know what you should do at any time. They get their information updated. Their numbers, which start 0800 203 033, then there is 0800 100.
I've put it there.
Yeah, let Bishop put there. Those numbers are free to call. And there are people sitting on those call centers all the time. They work in shifts to get your calls. And they will give you instructions on what to do depending on where you are. Okay. I'm not very updated how they have set up the collection of specimen now, but we have testing centers. But you are not required, because some people have misunderstood that you have to go to, you have to come to Entebbe at the Uganda Virus Center or here. No. People pick the specimen from you, and we have a system how it moves. You don't need to know. So long as they have picked the specimen, it has ways it moves. Some of those things we don't tell you. It's our security system, our health security system. And that specimen will reach Entebbe, and within 24 hours they'll be able to tell you. Health facilities have been guided. There are those which don't have capacity to keep you for long, but they are stationed ambulances in all the regions. So once you have called and they have assessed and they know you need to go into a temporary isolation, they need to pick your specimen, there will be an ambulance to pick you and take you to a place where they can keep you overnight. But if you are just sick, because we still have the normal flu, you're just sick, feeling a bit sick, you're coughing, you're sneezing, stay at home. If you must move, wear a mask. And you forgot to carry the surgical mask to show people how they should wear it. But people are taking a lot of advantage, and they are manufacturing, sewing clothes, selling, they are doing all sorts of things. Surgical masks have to be medically produced. If you just use anything which is coming up, you are going to get sick. So if you have to go into, but the Ministry of Health is making arrangements if once you're going into public transport. If you're going, that's if you're going into public transport, all accesses to those, if they take your temperature and it is above, and or you are coughing, they will give you a mask. You have to wear it so that you don't infect others. But masks will not protect you from getting infected, but it can protect the others because it stops the saliva from scattering. So don't move around with a mask thinking it will protect you, not protect the others from you. They are called surgical masks because they are worn by people who are doing surgery to protect the patient from being infected by the people who are in the theater. So they protect the others, they don't protect you. Okay? They protect others from you, not protecting you. If you want it to protect you, then we have a special type of mask called the N95. Right now, they are not there in the country. The few we have are being kept for special purposes. Trying to get some more, but you know, we have got this before. We have got this late. And then, you know, restrictions on transport, we are getting them from China. China also had to keep for themselves. And so there are so many complications. So now, so that is the testing. Enforcement, anything, all the things that were announced by the president yesterday, they are legally binding. And every government sector, the security system, is working to make sure they enforce. So they announced closure of schools. Minister of Education has to do what? To think through the details and close the schools, but schools must be closed by tomorrow. So let me just walk you through. The first direction was to close schools. Why? And I got so many calls. I got so many messages on WhatsApp. I got so many calls. It amazed me that even some of my colleagues didn't understand this. Now, approximately, we have 15 million students, starting from nursery to university. We have 15 million people in school. And they vary in terms of population. But on average, there are more than 500 in each institution. Now, I was explaining to someone, or I was asking somebody who called me very angry, and expected this person to actually support me. Why are you closing? Because individuals are thinking about the money they have paid. Now, when we come to think about public health, you have to stop thinking about yourself. And for us public health professionals, we don't look at individuals. I don't look at individuals. I look at the population and how they can be safe. We are servants. We look at the population. So if you are sick here, yes, I'm interested that you should be okay, but I'll call somebody to come and take you away. And I may not visit you there where they take you. I'll hand you over to people who will take care of you. My concern is, are these safe? So that is the heart we should be going into this. Is the population safe? Are the people safe? Not just even your church, but are the villagers safe? So these people go to the schools. Some of them are day, some are day and boarding, and some are boarding, and some are neither, like universities. People are either, we don't know whether they are in or they are out, they go out. But in all these institutions, there are people going out and coming in. Now, most of these institutions have young people. And we have said that the young people are less likely, I'm not going to say they don't, but they are less likely to develop severe disease. A smaller proportion of them will develop severe disease compared to older people. That means they are extremely efficient in transmitting this virus. Because you will not know whether they are sick or not. Remember what I explained to you about the virus? Now you imagine one school. I have a school, and we have 1,500 children. Out of those 500 sleep in the school, and 1,000 go out and come in every day. Imagine one of them brings the virus in the school. What will happen is both the ones inside and the 1,000 go out and come in every day. So they are going to be taking it to 1,000 homes. Within 3 weeks, that entire catchment area, I will have all the susceptible people sick. And then these 500, once that happens, then we will be forced to close the school. And I will release the 500, they are borders because they come from far. Then I will, first of all, no parent will allow you to keep their child in boarding school when there is a new disease. Now they will start to spread. So 1,500 families, communities, villages, churches will have infection at a go. So it's a very efficient way of transmitting the virus. So the logic is, before we confirm this virus, we would like to disperse these people. So that there is no place where one person can infect. Did you get me the chart? Did we get the chart?
He sent for it. Yeah, just get one. Get it.
Yeah. So, one, we cannot say with certainty that we have a means. WHO is here. So, do you have a way of stopping that virus from entering Uganda? No. The virus is going to come if it's not already here. We have not confirmed it is here, but it is going to come. Now, our core strategy, and today I was reading that all countries are adopting this strategy, and when I shared it with the cabinet on Monday, I didn't know that other people are saying, is we need to control the spread. It is going to come, but we should not allow it to give us so many people sick at a go that we cannot manage. So it will come, but we'll try as much to contain. So if you are meeting less than 10 people, and please, that is only when you must. We have these phones. Use the phone. Try, for me in my home, sorry, don't come to visit me because nobody will allow you. It's already under quarantine. I have my elderly mother there. My husband has a high blood pressure. I also have, we don't allow anybody. The children going to school, they stopped before. My children homeschool, I dismissed the teacher last week. I told him, sorry, you go home, wait for your salary, but I will not. So, yeah, so the home is already under self-quarantine. Yeah. We have put money on mobile money for buying things. So try to minimize meetings with people because you don't know where they have been and it is impossible for you to tell their status. So if we have fewer people getting sick, let's say we have 100 people get exposed, the 20 get sick, and out of those 20, maybe 6 will need intensive care. Remember, they take very long there. We contain that disease there as much as possible. Then as it is moving to a new area, these people have controlled. We have given them the best we can. Okay? Do you get it? So we are controlling the spread. We are going to manage the spread as much as possible. So this is level 1. Should we get a case in your area, you will be surrounded by security forces. Nobody will move out of there. You will stay in that area. There will be no public transport. There will be, because we don't want you to spread it and overwhelm us. We know that it will move, but we need to control so that it moves slowly, so that we can manage the numbers. That is the only way we will give a chance to as many people as possible to survive the disease. Do you get it? So when we ask, so having children in school is at this time of such risk when it has been declared a pandemic, is just a formula for disaster. That is why you see people, even in those, but those who are detecting one case, sometimes they are too late. They are too late. Because you can read the other risk factors. What if some children already have it? You are disseminating. So, very decisive. We don't want any place where we have so many people who get the disease and spread it very fast over many areas. So you can explain that to people. Now the operational things that people are asking, will they refund our fees, will what? The Minister of Health, the Minister of Education will work with that. We are advising that we count the days that children have been at school, and when we start, we finish first term. Because parents are saying we have already paid a lot of money, and you know. So the mechanisms of that, but the first step is no congregations of large groups of people who will disseminate the disease, and then we'll have a boom of cases, and then they will overwhelm us. So you can explain that.